anyone that did not get any signatures at all on their paper? They have a totally blank paper, and they were actually participating. Okay, cool. So everybody at least got one signature. Was there anyone that was able to get 10 signatures of different people on their paper? All right, so you got 10? You got 11. Oh, overachiever. All right. You got 10 and 12. All right, please raise your hand if you got 10 or more signatures on your paper. All right, cool. Let's give those folks a hand. Cool. So as you were walking around and you were signing people's papers, did you see something on someone else's paper and you were like, man, why didn't I think of that? Or I should have added that. What were some of those things that you saw on someone else's paper and you were like, I should have added that? Yes, sir. Education. So that was one of the things. All right. Trust. All right. So you saw that on somebody else's paper. You said, I should have added that. Yes, sir. Integrity. So integrity was one of those things that you saw on somebody else's paper and you said, I can add that to mine. All right. Anything else? One more. Empathetic. All right. So being empathetic or having empathy, you saw on somebody else's paper and said, I should have that. I should have put that on mine. Right. Or could have put that on mine. As you were going around the room, were there also things on your paper that you either did not get someone to sign on, or it was actually difficult to find someone? You finally found someone, but it was difficult, or more difficult than the other things. What was that? Pride. All right. So please raise your hand if being prideful or having pride is important or of value to you. Please raise your hand if it's important to you or of value to you. Okay. No, I didn't say it had to be your top anything. I was just asking, even if it wasn't written on your paper, was pride important to you? Okay, cool. I saw you shaking your head that there were some things that were more difficult to find. What was one of those for you? Trust. Okay, cool. Please raise your hand if trust is important to you, even if it wasn't written on your paper. All right, sweet. Can I have one more? Yes, sir. Courage. All right. Please raise your. What was that? Oh, courteous. Being courteous. If being courteous is important to you, even if it wasn't written on your paper, please raise your hand. All right. Cool. So I would do this exercise with my high school students. I would do it with my college students. And why do you think I'm doing it with you? What's the point of this particular exercise? That we all share values. How many people have been in a diversity training, sensitivity training, or maybe even a sexual harassment training before that I did not lead? All right, cool. You are the people I have to heal. All too often in those conversations, in those diversity trainings or sensitivity trainings or even sexual harassment trainings, what we often talk about, or the central theme in those conversations, are how we are different. And all too often, we don't spend enough time talking about developing, exploring the ways in which we are more similar. It is my belief that the things that we think are different are actually obstacle illusions. Things that get in the way of us actually having authentic and real relationships with each other, with the folks that we are in charge of, people who are in our charge, and even in the community. It is those obstacle illusions that keep us from getting to real stuff. And I'll tell you why some of these things are obstacle illusions. And some of the things I'm talking about are things such as race, or gender, or the part of town that you come from. These become obstacles that do not allow us to have authentic relationships. And I've been doing this particular activity for a while. And so I have a question, and I'd like for you to work with me through this question. write down 10 of your professional and personal values. Yes? All right. And values typically are those things that are important to you. Is that correct? All right, so cool. So I ask you to write down the 10, and then I ask you to cut that 10 into 5, and then ultimately to come up with the 5 things that are important to you. So I ask you to do that. And so I have some follow-up questions to this activity that I just had you participate in. And I'd like for you to be as honest as you possibly can when answering these questions, because it will yield my data seeking beneficial. And so what I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to raise your hand if one of the 5 values that you put down in your paper is either your race or your ethnicity. Please raise your hand if one of those 5 things that you value or are important to you is your race or ethnicity. So I got no takers on that. Okay? Cool. I'd like for you to raise your hand if your gender or gender identity was one of those 5 things that you put down that was important to you. Okay, no takers on that either. Okay, what did you put?
Oh, I said be a man of integrity.
Being a man of integrity. All right?
There's difference in being a man of integrity or integrity. There's a lot of things. Different men. Choices different men.
Okay. No. Wait. So hold up. Cut the brother some slack. Because I'd also like to think about it, and I like that. I would also add that oftentimes when we talk about humans, the shortcut is to talk about man specifically as a species. But I do believe that there are some expectations of men of integrity, and there are expectations of women of integrity. I think that the key and the common bond to both of those is integrity, right? So what it means to be a man of integrity is different than what it means to be a woman of integrity. And we can fight about that if we like. I don't necessarily see a need to, right? Because if I'm paying child support as a man, then I'm being a man of integrity. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And so we can talk about that offline if you like, right? But the common theme is, in fact, integrity, right? So no one put their race or ethnicity as one of those things that they value. No one put their gender. Please raise your hand, jump up and down, do a cheer if you put your social economic status as one of those things that you value or is important to you. Is money the same as your economic status? Okay. I hear some people saying yes, I hear some people saying no. Did anyone put the words economic status? No. Okay. Did anyone put class? Upper class, lower class, middle class. Did you put those words? Okay. Now, this is so funny. So I try to scan the room and make sure that I'm paying attention to everybody. Guilty people always ask me why I'm looking at them. I intentionally scan the room, and then guilty people go, why are you looking at me? I'm like, whoa, I wasn't looking at you, but now I am. Right? So here's the piece I think is really important. Why did people not put their race or ethnicity down as one of their 5 values? Why do people not put their gender as one of their 5 values? Why do people not put their socioeconomic status as one of their 5 values? Yes, sir. We can't? I don't, is that an inside joke of some sort? Yes, sir. Uh-huh. Because I ask you a particular question. And you answered the question. What did I ask you to do? To write down the things that you value. And those things did not come up because you don't value them as much as the things that you wrote down. I'm not saying that they're not important. I'm not saying that you don't value them at all. But what I am saying is the things you wrote down on the paper are more important than those other things to you. But the world is a funny place because we value those things less, but the world typically tries to make those the points of distinction and make us think that those are things that we should value as well.